Patrick, last year you gave Ruby a turn in the bumper. What about this year's renewal? How do you think the team is shaping up overall?
Well, it looks the two obvious ones are Mr. Wiley's horses, Black Hercules and Shane's Hill. I don't know whether Dad's going to run the two of them. Shane's Hill will probably handle good ground very well. He's a half-footer to a Group 2 winner on the flat, whereas Black Hercules probably needs a bit of a cut in it. He's a real 3-mile chaser in the making. So I'm not sure which he'll run, but I wouldn't mind riding either of them.
And of course, Black Hercules is a horse you're very closely linked to. You recommended him to the Wileys. It was a big weight off your shoulders when he won that day in Punchestown, wasn't it?
Yeah, myself and Emmett bought him at the sales, the Land Rover. We got him broken and trained him for a point, and he won. And then, he looks, to me, he's a gorgeous horse. And Mr. Wiley bought him, and just for him to win, to prove that what we thought of him was right, was a huge weight off our shoulders, yeah. And
how do you think the two of them compare to, say, your bumper winners of previous years, your Champagne Fevers and Briar Hills?
Well, they're two very different horses. Like I said, Black Hercules is a real 3-mile chaser. He's not slow, but he probably wants a real good gallop to be seen at his best. At the last day in Gordon now, we had a real strong gallop and he picked up off it and away with him up the straight. Shane's Hill is a bit skinnier, a bit smaller, has a flat pedigree, a lot more speed, and I think it sometimes needs a bit of a stare to win in Cheltenham, because we go a real good gallop and you've got to get up the hill. And I think Black Hercules is probably more like Briar Hill in that he's Briar Hill and Champagne Fever in that he's more of a real national hunt horse and stays very well.
Of course, 12 months ago you had one of the real highlights of your career when Back in Focus got up in the 4-miler. How's this year's renewal shaping up? Do you know what you're going to be on yet?
I'm not sure if we have another Back in Focus, but Balance Slow and Sun Chep looked the two obvious ones. Balance Slow I thought ran a cracker in the Thyestes. I mean, that experience of running in a big handicap would be a huge asset in the 4-mile chase. Sun Chep would love the trip, and he was maybe a little lucky the last day, but he's a fantastic jumper. Only has 2 runs over fences, wouldn't be ideal, but he looks a natural, and I'd be happy with either of them. Balance Slow has lots of other options. He's in the Kimio and a couple of the festival handicaps, so I'd have to wait till near the time to see which.
We'll try and split them up.
Exactly, yeah.
And Patrick, just wanted to get your view on some of the novice hurdlers. Obviously, you rode quite a few of them in their bumper days. Your Wicklow Braves, Faugheen, etc. I mean, how strong a crop do you think they are this year?
I think it's as strong a team as we've ever had. Wicklow Brave. He beat the Western Boy 2 or 3 lengths in the bumper in Tipperary, giving him £10. I mean, that form looks very strong now when you link it in with Vitor beating Western Boy a half length in Punchestown. His jumping wasn't great the last time in Punchestown, but I think he'll love Cheltenham and he'll travel away ever with loads of gears. Faugheen, I only got to ride him once. He felt like an aeroplane that day, and he's done nothing to say he's not ever since. I mean, the horse that was second to him in Punchestown, 22 lengths back, is one of the favourites for Spring Novices, Justice Hill, which is an extraordinary performance. And
overall, the team, obviously you rode Briar Hill, I should say, in his bumpers, not at Cheltenham, but previously as well. Do you think they're a good bunch of horses this year? Vautour, obviously there, Valser Lido, Shore Reef, they're all promising, aren't they?
I mean, like I said, we're so lucky to have the horses we have, and that's thanks to the owners having the confidence, in the yard and putting the horses here. And I really like. I think Briar Hill has probably gone under the radar. He's not flashy, but I think on better ground you'll see a different horse. Like in Cheltenham last year, he wasn't slow. He sprinted up the hill, and I think he's gone under the radar a little bit this year.
What about Champagne Fever, Patrick? Obviously a huge favourite of yours from his bumper days. Are you confident going into the Arkle, which looks like it's going to be his target?
It's not ideal. He's only had 2 runs. I don't know what the stats are like, but you'd like some more experience. The only thing is he did jump spectacular in Leopardstown. I mean, he was out jumping the Philologic everywhere, and then he just made a mistake the second last. But the blessing was that he didn't fall, because that would have been disaster. His confidence would have been shook. Hopefully he'll have learned from the mistake, and I still think he's got as good a chance as that in there. His course form speaks for itself.
And Patrick, Annie Power, just about everyone has their own opinion about where they'd like to see her running. You know her really well, though, of course, rode her in her bumper days, rode her for Jim Bulger. I presume it was you that recommended your dad bought her, was it?
Well, she didn't take a lot of recommending. She was very impressive. I was very lucky to ride her 4 times. I always rode her with a bit more stamina in mind, because Jim Boulder had said, you know, she could have the class to be a cup mare on the flat, and usually if you're a stayer on the flat, you're a stayer over hurdles, but she has so much class, she could go back to 2 miles, but I'd say she had no problem staying 3 miles whatsoever.
And of all the horses that your dad has gone to Cheltenham this year, is the one in particular you're most confident about above all else?
Most confident about, well, I do think Briar Hill will take a lot of beating. I think I think his style of racing means that he's not hyped up, and he's yet to be beaten. I think he's a very, very good horse.
Patrick, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck over there.
Thanks very much.